on today's episode of How F***ed Up is F***ed Up. That's F***ed Up.
Hey yo, what is up guys, it's Twa here. Today I'll be talking about my first 24 hours in Lost Ark. Yes, I have done a marathon. I played for more than 24 hours, got myself to 400 iLVL, and I will be explaining how I got there. But a word of caution, if you start out at the 11, I think this is a guideline on how you should do it. Yes, you could use it, but don't waste your sleep on that because sleep is good for your health. Outside of that, if you see anything new, informative, or whatsoever, could you put a like down so it helps my channel out growing? And if you also want to stay updated on every content that I make regarding Lost Ark, make sure to hit the sub button. But without further ado, let's get it started. Starting off with me playing around in the Russia server, did the character customization, made myself my gunslinger main, played around with it. And then we had the one thing that we had so much problems getting into this game. It took me about an hour until we finally found my whole thing downloading, and I was playing Punishing Grave Raven at the same time. And look at me being happy as hell starting out this game. Okay, let's get it poppin', ladies and gentlemen. Photosensitive seizure warning, cause this game is flashy as hell. Accept everything, protect the community, play fair, respect each other. Yo, you should have seen the Russian server, man. It's League of Legends incarnated. And with Gunslinger having one of the most ridiculous movement skills, you can definitely cut out on your time when you're speedrunning. So if you want to make your very first character, I would recommend Gunslinger if you are aware on how to control. Now, I think that some people are unaware of is that you don't necessarily have to kill everything to complete a quest. So what I tend to do is I try to mob everything. If I don't have to kill it, I don't, and then use my skills accordingly to save myself some time within speedruns. A tip that you can use for this is simply look at what the quest indicator tells you to do. If it doesn't tell you to kill stuff but move to a certain place, then move to the certain place, save yourself some time without killing. But all things considered, what you gotta do with this class is put grenades up in bosses' asses, like this. But after you kill this boss, try and put a grenade up his ass and actually decide to kill him. You then find yourself in the Hall of the King. And then you find yourself with Aetherion, and the reason why this is considered to be one of the most highly valuable characters in the game is because he gives a lot of gold, gives a gold card which you need at the end of the day. So make sure to use all of your rapport, drop it into this dude if you don't know what to do with it. Because after I looked at my box, gave him some broken daggers, his rapport became a level 1, and I suddenly got 200 gold. After that part, you go down the hall and find yourself this sweet lady that will grant you your estate. And after a ridiculous cutscene, you will then be able to teleport to your own house. And although I considered myself having a speed run, I made sure to do this quest. Reason why? Because there are timed events. Because if you look down below, there's this act energy and it simply says that it has a maximum. I will consider this to be highly valuable because you always want this to be recharging. If it is not, you are wasting points. And all you gotta do is very simple, just look at the quest. The quest will indicate what you have to do. Take out this little bit of time to invest into your account. And I would say the same thing for gathering, because here as well you got 10,000 points. As long as this is charging, this is good. That doesn't mean that you gotta straight away deplete this all the way to 0, but do make sure that it's charging. Now once getting out of your estate, you find yourself at a spot where you gotta do a lot of quests. I would recommend you doing every single purple quest. If there are quests that you still didn't have, press your J button, go to the right side as the guiding quest, make sure to pop those. But there's a very neat quest that I would recommend people doing here as well, because this will give you your very first class engraving. And I found myself being able to get my class engraving even like maybe even 10 hours into the game, and got myself a very first yellow quest. So for those veterans that tell you don't do these, do them, because here's where I got my very first 3 parts of 20 class engravings. And I found that when you do most of the purple and the chain quest, you will get yourself your class engraving at the very early stages of the game. Another quest that allowed to gain me a little bit faster was pure luck, and that was using the stones. I looked at all of my abilities, saw the hit master, and thought to myself, what if I hit a 5 out of 6? I was a little hesitant at first, and then we got it all together. which then give you your very first engraving, and it gives you all sorts of attack increases as long as not back or a frontal attack, which is very useful for gunsling. Once you then go to your top right, there is this welcome challenge, and I would recommend everybody to look at this very cleanly because the amount of gaining that you can do on your account is ridiculous. Here once again, 5 engravings for your class. And with these engravings, I absolutely destroyed any boss that came in my way. Now once you reach the point where you find yourself some clowns, there is a chain quest that I would recommend people to do as well. Because not only do you find yourself a laughing emote, and emotes are very good to build up your rapport, it will give you an opportunity if you're doing this thing with friends and family to tell them, please don't use your transform to nearly get one shot by every monster that's here. Yes, I'm evil like that, baby. If you're watching this video, I got you. Then you come up at a point where you would have to do one of the hellish quests on Earth, and that is play a Father Arman. The reason why this is as obnoxious as it is because the dude walks slow as hell. Now there is a way to skip this, and that is continuously press your Q because it's faster than his usual movement. Nonetheless, trying to kill the boss will still take up a hefty amount of time. After that, even if it takes a hefty amount of time, make sure to do the purple quest once again because 5 engraving books. Class engravings in this game are ridiculous. So after 6 hours in, I got myself some more class engravings, and currently I am already up to a 14 out of 20. On 6 hours, 47 minutes, I even got some more. I am now a 19 out of 20. And I was mad as hell that I couldn't find the last one. I look at my estate, find out that my sailors are done, add another formation, and just do a mission start. It says that the adaptation is only 4%. To me, it really didn't matter all that much. I just click whatever seemed convenient at the time. But another neat feature is when you press Alt P, you can see your pet. If you have a filled inventory, just put everything that is useless in there. But it wasn't until a little hour later where I found myself the very last book for my engraving. So yes, your yellow quests are definitely useful if you want to have your very first class engraving. You dumbass, it's in your inventory, you're looking at it. Please just use it. I completely forgot, so I didn't use it. But then at some point I gained another one, and I decided to say, good job, my dude. You got yourself the Peacemaker engraving. And here's what you do. You simply equip not 1 but 2 on there. Look at your engraving and you have a beautiful character. Every single time that you switch, you then get yourself a extra buff. Obviously, if you have a different class, it has a different effect. This moveset has a very tight feature, and that is switch to your handgun, get attack speed, and all of your movement skills, such as your A, my Q, my E, and even my spacebar dash get cast faster, which means that you can literally save up for lost time. After I gave the water lady a fair warning, shooting her in the dome piece after she didn't listen, we said goodbye to the land of the Mokoko, set ourselves out to sea, reaching another land filled with people that need some ass whooping. So we ended up whooping her ass, his ass, gunning down her ass. I threw a dookie at his ass, did a spinnerooski on his ass, and probably overkilling his ass. And then lo and behold, we got our fight with Banda, which is probably one of the biggest fights that you will find in the early game. I really do love the aesthetics of this one. We're nearly 12 hours in, way behind schedule if you look at the actual speed run, but level 45. So with 13 hours in, way behind schedule, but got ourselves a class engraving and some other neat features within the game, we got ourselves a level 50. But that didn't mean we had to stop there, because after we put down another circus act and gunning down this dude, it was once again time to set sail for our next adventure. Finding ourselves another town in dire need of our help, and this time zombie. And I've seen enough Walking Dead to know that a gun without ammo is probably one of the biggest assets in a zombie apocalypse. But all jokes aside, after saving the city, getting a reward from the queen, 10 pieces of gold, I'm not selling my soul. We then find ourselves this dude in the middle that will unlock us something very useful, and that is the Chaos Dungeon. Chaos Dungeon is basically Dynasty Warriors. Lots of monsters, not much HP, a lot of skills to your disposal, and this is where you start gearing up your character. And after doing it once again, I found myself an inventory which contained a lot of upgrading stones. But I wasn't done yet. By signing some documents, I was then allowed to fight a big bear. And because guns are made for hunting, I wanted to just shoot and solo this dude. And after about 13 minutes, I found myself killing this bear, and in hindsight, could I have better taken a party? Maybe so, but do take into account that whenever you do take a party, the HP of the boss will gradually go up as well, which doesn't necessarily mean that your killer will be faster. The other thing that I decided to then do is look at my builds and make another preset that I would use for boss. This way it took me about roughly 11 minutes to cook this bear up. And truth be told, maybe the build could have still been better. Now in hindsight, I could have probably taken another route which would have been better, and that is simply increasing my eye level by doing quests. The Welcome Challenge event will provide you several other opportunities to upgrade your gear. This way the double orbs that you get every day will then not be wasted. The same pretty much goes for the Chaos Dungeon as well. The next best thing I ended up doing was do some dailies, because at 11 there would be a reset, and guess what? Try doing dailies every day will increase your overall account. By then I should have set up my bifrost. I didn't do that, so I lost time in the process. The huge feature with bifrost is very simple. Once you have traveled to a certain spot, put your bifrost up there. Especially for dailies, you don't have to travel by sea or by teleport. No, you can just simply put your bifrost teleport up there and you will be there instantaneously. This will significantly reduce your time when it comes to doing daily quests. Later, somebody told me that if you get yourself a hoodie, join yourself a clan, you can get a Powerpass. No, jokes aside, once you clear yourself the Vern story quest, you will be able to get yourself a Powerpass. So we end up at a lane, get the quest, get it done. We then get ourselves a Vern Powerpass in the mail. But my dumbass actually forgot that I still need to click it in the mailbox until you can actually use the Powerpass. You will then find yourself a Trixion doing the funniest intro in the game. Hey, come Superman, yo! This one is just so good. I love the cinematic. Talking to Beatrice, getting yourself leveled up in the process. And with this, she's going to share you some backstories that you have already lived, especially through these 20 hours that I've already played. Now, if you want to have yourself a neat pet selection and a few potions, then please sit through the whole story mode. However, after just getting all my items, my gear, I decided to kill Ursil, do a few Chaos dungeons, and then it was time for the next Powerpass, Striker. I decided to simply say, lady, I'm gonna skip everything. And to my regret, maybe the dude now doesn't have any potions. He does have a pet because his account shared, but all the other cosmetics outside of maybe the training area that will give you bunny ears were absolutely unnecessary in my opinion. This way, doing exactly the same thing on my Striker, going down to Chaos Dungeon, whacking the bear's ass for nearly 17 minutes and losing all of my lives in the process because my skill build was not set correctly. I found myself having more fragments to then increase my gunslinger, because these are account shared. These are not tradable, however. And then decided to say to get everything up to the second level so I can then challenge Mr. Kitty that tries to fart on my face every single time. But truth be told, I put a shotgun up his culo, so it's a trade-off. So after a lot of time, 13 minutes in, dying a several amount of times, I got this kitty killed. Now the reason why you want to kill this is very simple, is because there will always be a first kill box. And once you open it, it then opens up more boxes. And with the boxes, there are a few accessories and a stone. If you're lucky, the stone is good. Not at the 10 times in the earlier game, they're not. Afterward, there's another feature that you can do to get yourself a little bit of upgrading stones, and that is do an abyssal dungeon. And after failing horribly on my part, 24 hours and a little bit of minutes, we got this thing killed for some pocket change. But the reason why I did this was because of the Welcome Challenge. The Welcome Challenge will then give you some weapon and some armor stone. And by this time I got myself to 353 item level, then upgrading it to 370. This was then another great setup to once again deal with another boss. So after yeeting this thing in the mouth, We then not only had more accessories to increase our overall damage capacity, we also had another chance to do on 380 eye level to do some Chaos Dungeon. Now the reason why I do these Chaos Dungeons is very simple. With these accessories you will then get your very first stats. They are very easy to come by, and this way you can get your first builds in. I go for a crit build with a little bit of attack speed, which in turn skyrocket my damage. If you want to find any other class with a certain build, just check out other guys, just YouTube them all together. Then around about 25 hours in, we found ourselves with something very neat, and that is get ourselves up to eye level 400. But this is not where I wanted to stop yet. There is a welcome challenge that is to Glacier Island, and you can start your quest right over there. It will find you one of the cutest polar bears, and he and his environment are getting polluted. This is also where you can start up your next character's class engraving. But the reason why this is ridiculously good is because it has a chain quest with more upgrading stones. And just to see its absolute beauty, here you go, watch the show. Harmony shards, a lot of them. With this upgrade, it becomes an absolute breeze. With this, I got myself to 436 eye level in the first 27 hours. To top this all off, I decided to do the last raid on the T1 section. But after a very gruesome fight and a lot of death, we had a warlord carry our ass with a 470 eye level. I at this time did not have any good accessories, so my damage was hellishly low. But at this point I wasn't done yet. I decided, let me just try solo this one because, hey, challenge. But with my current build, a wrong engraving, and me being tired as hell, I got myself yeeted by some ads. 56% HP and only 6 minutes left. So with this build we won't be able to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Lost Ark related content and have a suggestion on what I should cover, put it down into the comments, let me know. For now I will be streaming, trying out soloing this boss once again, this time a different build, and I will see you next time. Peace!